Hi. So I want to teach you about the Elohim, okay, and how I see it in my code. So for some reason, um, Spirit talks to me, and Spirit talks to basically everyone if you just listen. Well, let me tell you essentially what dimensions are, okay? It's not places where you go. Like people are like, oh, we're going to go to the fourth dimension, fifth dimension. Let me explain what dimensions are. It's literally when you add more dimensions onto a geometric shape, they become more evolved, okay? So think of it like that. If you first have a dot and then you add a dimension, right? You get like back and forth. And then if you add another dimension, then you get the third, right? So essentially, gaining dimensions is actually gaining higher perspectives of awareness, okay? So when you attain higher, I don't know, perspective, not higher, just literally more, you gain more perspective of awareness, and then your awareness becomes expanded. And it's just like geometry, how geometry becomes expanded, right? Well, so I have done this, okay? And I wouldn't say I know what level I'm on or what number it is or whatever that, but I'm able to see the matrix, okay? And that might sound insane to some people, but we do live in a coded simulation, okay? And when you expand your awareness to a certain point, you would see that too. And so I'd be talking to you and you'd be like, yes, I understand. Okay. Well, when you get to the more expanded awareness, you then start to see, when you look at like something that would be like a two-dimensional text, you start to see it in higher dimensions of thinking. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you what Elohim actually means in a different dimension. Okay. So if you think of an E, if you just turn it like this, or you flip it, it becomes a 3, right? And if you turn it this way, it becomes a W, and if you turn it this way, it becomes an M. Okay, that's an E. So an E can be M, W, E, or 3. Okay? So let's spell the word Elohim. E-L-O-H-I-M. So the E and the M are both 3s. Okay, so think of it, 33. So if you look, what's in between the 33 is the L-O-H-I, which is the low and the high, okay? So essentially, Elohim means you have attained your ability to see low and high and realize that they are all the same. Like it's just relative inside of the sphere of 33, okay? Because here's the thing, thinking in terms of like hierarchy is literally two-dimensional thinking, okay? Because you're thinking of good and white, good and bad, black and white, heaven, hell, okay? But when you gain the third perspective and you look down, it's sort of like rising above the canopy of the trees and seeing that it's a whole forest, right? So, and also, so if you're a tree in a forest and you're looking out, and you just see trees, you're like, oh, there's a tree, there's a tree, there's a tree, but I'm a tree too, but we're all separate. But just go down beneath the soil and you'll see you're all connected with your roots, and go high above the canopy and you'll see that you're one big thing, okay? So this is how you gain your godhood, if you will, to get into the third dimension, is when you realize that you are Elohim, meaning you're the tree, but you're also the roots, and you're also the top, and you're connected to all the other trees and everything else, okay? And you gain your third perspective. So you're able to rise above, and this is why in ancient Egypt, when they have the eagle head on, because you gained your third, you got your eagle eye view, right? So I could tell you all of what the ancient Egypt stuff means. And I will, if people want to know or whatever. But for now, I'm explaining to you Elohim. And, yeah. So, there you go. And funny thing too, the code also, an L, if you flip it, can be a 7, right? An I is a 1. An H, if you flip it, can be a 4. So this is like another dimension of thinking, another aspect of looking at the alphabets and the things like that. So as you gain higher perspectives of awareness, and you do that through heart coherence, you do that through self-reflection, learning from the discourse lessons, and then applying them to your heart and growing. This is how you gain higher, this is how you get into the higher levels of understanding, okay? You can just do it through knowledge, but to truly integrate and move above a certain level, not even above, but to integrate more, you need to have your heart be able to hold more like resonance, okay? More energy. So essentially, yeah, so I just gave you, I don't know what you would want to call it, a 4D, 5D, 6D, who the fuck knows, but it is a code that explains to you what Elohim actually are. So the gods, yeah, there's low gods and high gods, but then there are also true gods who have gained a higher perspective that realize that we're all gods, right? And no one is really high and low, because in a sphere, everything is relative, okay? So the high and low is only in a two-dimensional plane, right? You're like up and down, or you're this way. You're either going forwards or backwards, up or down, right? Forwards or backwards or up or down. But when you get to the third perspective and you can go there and you anchor in and you're able to look all around, that's when you see that it's a sphere. Sphere, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Namaste.